Hello, my friends. Welcome back to our English Learning Podcast. I am happy you are here with me today. This podcast is for people who want to learn English and also grow in life. My name is Aaron, and today I will talk to you about something very important. This is something that helps in learning English, building a business, chasing a dream, or even just getting out of bed on time in the morning. This important thing is consistency. Consistency means doing something again and again, every day or every week, without stopping. It is the key that can open the door to all your goals. But I will be honest with you. Being consistent is not easy. It is not exciting or beautiful, but it is powerful. When you learn how to be consistent, you can build every other habit you want in life. Now, when I say consistency, I don't mean discipline that feels like punishment. I mean a kind of discipline that changes you quietly, without you even noticing at first. One day you suddenly realize, wow, I have changed. You go from being a person who struggles to start to becoming a person who just does it. Without drama, without long thinking, and without waiting for motivation every day. Here is the truth nobody tells you. Motivation is not always there. It disappears when you need it most. But consistency can be your superpower. Today, I will share with you how to build consistency even on the days you don't feel like doing anything. Especially on those days. I will also give you small tips along the way that will help you in learning English faster. Alright, let's begin. The first idea I want to share is this. Most people wait for motivation. They say, I will start when I feel ready. Or, I will study when I am in the mood. But the truth is, this mood does not come when you need it. If I studied English only when I felt inspired, I would still be on lesson 3 of some old app I deleted years ago. Motivation is like Wi-Fi in the middle of a desert. It is unreliable and frustrating. What actually works is building systems. Systems are small routines that run automatically, like brushing your teeth. You don't ask yourself every morning, should I brush my teeth today? You just do it. For me, my system was to listen to an English podcast every morning while eating breakfast. No matter how sleepy I felt, I pressed play. That 10-minute routine became automatic. I didn't ask myself if I wanted to do it. I just did it. This is the magic. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop asking how you feel. You just follow the system. So here's my small challenge for you. If you are learning English, speak 2 or 3 sentences out loud every day. Do it even when you are tired. Especially when you are tired. Don't wait for the right mood. Build the muscle. This brings me to the second truth. You cannot just say, I will be consistent now, and expect it to happen immediately. Discipline is like a muscle. You grow it slowly. I used to think I needed one big, life-changing push to become consistent. But that was wrong. The truth is, I became consistent by showing up even when I didn't want to. For example, I started waking up 30 minutes earlier to practice speaking English, even if I sounded half asleep. Another change I made was giving up endless scrolling on my phone at night so I could write notes for the podcast or prepare new English phrases. At first, it felt difficult, but after a few weeks, I didn't miss scrolling anymore. I became the kind of person who just got things done. This is what happens. You become that person, not overnight, but through repetition. Repetition changes who you are. So, here's another small tip. Choose a time of day when you usually feel lazy, maybe late evening or after lunch, and do one small English activity at that time. This is like your discipline gym. Even if you only do it for 5 minutes, you are building the habit. Once you have this small routine, you can make it bigger later. But first, just focus on showing up. The third idea is this. Link your habit to something you already do. For example, before you go for a run, you tie your shoelaces. You don't even think about it. That action triggers the next action. In the same way, if you connect your new habit to something you already do every day, it will become easier. For me, after I make my morning tea, I take my notebook and write one English sentence about my day. The tea is not just a drink. It is my trigger to start writing. Another example. When I take a walk, I listen to an English podcast, even if it is just for 5 minutes. The walk triggers the habit. So here's a fun challenge for you. Choose one daily action: brushing your teeth, pouring your coffee, switching off your alarm, and attach 5 minutes of English practice to it. Make it small, make it easy, but keep it linked. Once the trigger is strong, you don't need willpower. The habit just happens. Now, let's talk about something many people misunderstand. The boring part. People think progress must be exciting, dramatic, or something you can post on social media. But real progress is often repetitive, and maybe even a little boring. When I was learning English, I thought every study session needed to be like a movie scene where I was working super hard and feeling powerful. But most of my real progress came from the boring stuff. Repeating phrases, listening to the same podcast twice, or writing the same word 10 times. It's like watering a plant. You don't see it grow every day, but if you stop watering, you will notice the change. Consistency doesn't always feel like a big breakthrough, but it builds the roots that keep you growing. So don't feel discouraged if your daily English practice feels plain. That's a good sign. It means it's becoming part of your life. One way to keep going is to track your boring wins. Write down small actions like, I spoke English for 3 minutes, or I read one paragraph, or I listened to English while cooking. These small wins add up to big results over time. Now, how can we keep these boring wins going day after day? One answer is micro rules. Micro rules are small promises you make to yourself to protect your habit. They remove the need to decide every day. They make the decision for you. For example, when I was in university, I had a rule. No social media until I finished my English writing for the day. It was simple, but very effective. Another rule I had was, I could only play video games after writing down 5 new English phrases. That rule made me learn new words faster because I wanted to play. These rules are personal. They stop distractions from breaking your consistency. So here's your next challenge. Make your own micro rule. It could be, no coffee until I practice speaking for 1 minute. Or, no watching TV unless I turn on English subtitles and write down 3 new expressions. Make it fun, but don't break it. Even with all these tricks, There will be days when you feel tired, unmotivated, sick, or stressed. That's normal. On those days, the secret is to do your bare minimum. Bare minimum means the smallest amount of work you can do on a bad day, but still keep your habit alive. On bad days, you don't have to give 100%. You just have to do something small so you don't break the chain. I remember one week when I was very tired and had no energy at all. I had no motivation, but I had a rule for myself. I must listen to at least 2 minutes of English audio while brushing my teeth. That was my bare minimum. It was so easy that I could do it even when I felt terrible. And guess what? I kept my streak alive. Another time, I had a bare minimum rule of reading 1 sentence in English before going to bed, no matter how late it was. It didn't take long, but it reminded me that I was still learning. I was still in the game. This is the power of bare minimum. It tells your brain, I am not quitting. I am just doing less today. This way, you don't disappear from your habit. You just adjust it. So my advice to you is, decide your bare minimum now, before the bad days come. Make it so small that you can do it even when you are half asleep. That way, when the hard days arrive, and trust me, they will, you will still keep your habit alive. Consistency is not about being perfect. It is about refusing to give up. And if there is one idea I want you to remember from this episode, it is this. Consistency becomes easy when it becomes part of your identity. Next is negotiate with yourself. This means having a little debate in your head about whether you should do something or not. For example, she kept negotiating with herself about whether to start studying. Repeat after me. She kept negotiating with herself about whether to start studying. Another phrase is flip a switch. This means trying to change something instantly, but real change usually takes time. For example, you can't just flip a switch and feel motivated. Repeat after me. You can't just flip a switch and feel motivated. Next is trigger. In habits, a trigger is something that tells your brain it's time to start the habit. For example, hearing the kettle boil was her trigger to start journaling. Repeat after me. Hearing the kettle boil was her trigger to start journaling. Another fun word is Giphying. This means turning a task into a game so it feels more fun or rewarding. For example, he Giphied his workouts by giving himself points for every session. Repeat after me. He Giphied his workouts by giving himself points for every session. Next is bare minimum. This means doing the smallest possible thing, and that's okay. It still counts. For example, on her busiest days, she did the bare minimum. 1 sentence. Repeat after me. On her busiest days, she did the bare minimum. 1 sentence. The last phrase is show up for yourself. This means keeping a promise to yourself, even when it's hard, or when no one is watching. For example, he didn't feel like practicing, but he did it anyway. He showed up for himself. Repeat after me. He didn't feel like practicing, but he did it anyway. He showed up for himself. Look at you. You are doing that right now. You listened, you practiced, you spoke. You are showing up for your English and for yourself. That is what real consistency is. Not loud, not perfect, just daily effort. Take a moment to feel proud of yourself. You are moving forward, and I will see you again very soon in another episode. So, to finish this talk, remember, consistency does not need to be dramatic. It does not need to be exciting. It just needs to be yours, daily, quiet, and real. If today's episode helped you even a little bit, maybe share it with a friend who is trying to build a habit or improve their English. Until next time, keep practicing, keep growing, and keep becoming the kind of person who always shows up. Your progress does not end here. The journey continues.